So to kick off today's digital skills workshop, I'd like to invite everyone to just take a moment to think about what brought them here today and what you're hoping to get out of today, or what your reason for being here is. And if you don't have to say it out loud, but just pop it into the chat box, because it'd be great for us to get a sense of what people are here for or how much experience they've got. So what are you interested in today, and what brings you here? I'm guessing the silence means that everybody is deep in thought about their objectives for this workshop. So I'll let it slide. But if anyone wants to share them in the group chat, it'll be great to see. But no worries if not. Today we're gonna start with a bit of a quiz. But don't worry, you don't need to pass it to carry on. It's just for a bit of fun. And then we'll move on to understanding the basics of preparing a video and what that might look like. And then Echo will do a fantastic demonstration for us of just how that looks on a particular platform. So to get started, I'm going to ask you all to open up a web browser or get your phone out, because we're going to ask you to go onto Menti. So I'm sure some of you have seen this before, but I'm going to share my screen and we are going to play a bit of a game. So 1 second. So we've got a few questions to work through together, and everyone will see everyone's answers as it comes up, but they will be anonymous, so feel free to bring up any ideas. So the link is in the chat, or you can just go to menti.com and add in this code here. So you can do that in a separate browser, or you can do that on your phone, whatever you find easiest. And the first question for everybody is, what platforms do you know of where you can upload and share videos? And that's anything from anywhere in the world. How might you share a video if you wanted to, or where do you access videos? Here we go, Facebook, YouTube, absolutely. WhatsApp, totally agree. I see lots of videos on Instagram as well, but I don't know. Telegram, that's a new one. So lots of apps, LinkedIn. Any other thoughts on there? So I think the biggest one there is YouTube, which is perhaps unsurprising. Echo, in your experience, is there any that you would add on to that you haven't seen here? Perhaps some more unusual ones, or have we covered them all here?
I think we have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Telegram. Yeah.
I guess the one I'm thinking about as well is just websites. I guess if you might go and see someone's on someone's blog or an organization's website, they might just have their own videos embedded as well. But it sounds like you guys are pretty familiar with the main platforms already, so that's definitely a good start for us. So we're going to move on now. So my question to you, how many hours of content are uploaded to YouTube? Sorry, something has gone wrong with this, so I'm just going to move on. There we are. How many hours of content are uploaded to YouTube every minute? This is every single minute.
Every single minute.
Is it 10 hours? Is it 50 hours, 100 hours, or 500 hours? So somebody already thinks it might be 500. What do you guys think? Got 100 hours, a few more in there. No one thinks it's 10 hours at the moment. Okay, like I said, it's all anonymous, and so we'll never know who thinks what. So All right, should we reveal the answer? It is 500 hours. Every single minute is uploaded to YouTube. So goodness knows how we're meant to keep up with that, but that's what's out there. So let's move on. Next one. So what percentage of social media users find short form videos the most engaging content? Is it 46% of them, 66% of them, or 86% of them? So someone straight in there again with the top one. What do you guys think? Got a 66. All right, so there's quite a few thinking it's pretty high there. Whoever held out for that 1%, bravo, because that's where it's at. It's 66% of social media users find videos the most engaging content. All right, it's just a couple more. So thinking now about Twitter, although I know it's not called that anymore, but I'm old enough to be a Luddite and find it difficult to change my language. But tweets with video get how much more engagement than tweets without video? Is it 2 times, 5 times, or 10 times? So when there's a tweet with a video, what sort of engagement do you see? So this is likes, retweets, comments. Okay. It's looking good. If everyone's in there. So the correct answer is 10 times. So you can expect to get 10 times more engagement if you've got a video on there. And sorry, my mouse is going a bit mad. So last one, after watching a video, how much of the key message do viewers usually retain? So counting down, is it 95% of that key message, 75, 50, or 25? Where do you think it is? Any other thoughts on this one? We'll close it shortly. So pretty low at the moment. No one's thinking up here. Well, the answer is 95%, according to this research. And don't worry, I will share my sources shortly after this and you can verify for yourselves. But this is just to give you a sense of the importance or the potential impact of video. And with that, I'm going to hand over to the real MVP of this. So Echo, over to you.
Thank you, Easy. Could you kindly help show me the screen? Just a minute, I'm trying to share my screen.
No problem. Can I do it for you?
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. All right. So during this session, we will guide you through the fundamentals principles of creating and editing videos. So whether you're a seasoned researcher or you're new to this world of digital skills, the goal is to equip you with essential knowledge that would hone your craft or hone your skills in developing compelling videos for your research and beyond. So let's get right into it. In making videos, it's very important to understand some key elements. And the first thing is to explain complex concepts, because in the world of research in health, there are various jargons that we use, which may not make people understand. So for example, you mentioned something like hypertension, and we know what hypertension is in the research world or in the health space, but to someone who has no knowledge about the health field, they may have no idea about it. So it's important that you break down and use simple words and pictures to explain the hard stuff. So if you're talking about, let's say, how vaccines work, you can show a simple animation of how germs get beaten up by the vaccine superheroes, for example. Don't use fancy words that people won't understand. The rule of thought is to always use words that everyone would understand, whether they are in the field or not. So explain complex concepts is the first thing to take note of when developing videos, when putting videos together, because your aim is to make it easy for everyone to get it, even if they are not experts. So in your language and in your visuals, it's important to make these concepts more understandable to a broader audience. Then the next element would be to catch the attention of whoever is watching the video. And you know how you watch a movie and then the first thing you see, you're like, wow. Or you're like, oh my God. Yes, that's the kind of emotion you want to evoke anytime someone sees your video within the first few seconds. So imagine you're at a party and you want everyone to listen to your story. You've got to start with a hook, something exciting to grab their attention, or they'll just walk away. They start watching your video, they're like, no, I don't like this, and then they move on to the next. And in this era of social media, a lot of people just go on to the next thing when they find something very boring within the first few seconds. So one tip is to begin with something interesting. For example, a cool question. So if you're making a video about healthy living, for example, you can start by asking, did you know that some foods can actually make you smarter? So you realize that if you watch some of the videos online, some people ask a lot of DYKs. Did you know? Do you know? That grasps, the attention of people. Or you share surprising fact about health or science or research that you feel no one knows about. So from the get-go, use eye-catching pictures or videos right at the beginning, and make sure that it's able to catch the attention of the person who is watching. Now, the third element when developing a video is to evoke emotions. Now, it's undeniable about the power of emotions, especially in storytelling. Creating this emotional connection can make the content very relatable and memorable. Think about when you watch a movie, usually how do you feel? Sometimes you feel happy, you feel sad. So for me, emotions are like magic in your videos. They help people connect with what you are saying. So the tip is to I always say that if you can, share real stories about real people to make viewers feel something. Even in the humanitarian world, we realize that, especially in communications, when we are posting captions or stories, most of the time, the pictures or the visuals that have people in it are those that people enjoy watching. And statistics also show that. So, for example, if you are discussing, let's say, the importance of exercise, you can share a short story about someone who started exercising and felt super happier and healthier. Or you can use sounds or music to make your video more emotional, but not too loud. We will talk about sounds in the next bit. And if you're talking about, let's say, a touching moment in your video, you can add a soft, gentle music in the background as well. So adding and evoking emotions is also a very critical element when thinking about developing videos. And then the fourth element is obviously reaching a wider audience. Why would you create a very beautiful, impactful video and then no one gets to see it? It doesn't reach the number of people you envision it will reach. So in terms of accessibility, make sure it's easy for people to access your information. So if you can put it up on social media, please do on the various platforms. If you can share it on your organization's website, it's important to do that. You can upload it to YouTube. And when doing that, also make sure you use the right words and descriptions so your videos show up when people search for them. You can use the right hashtags, for example, when you're using Twitter, so that anytime people click the particular phrase, it shows them exactly where to go to, or your video pops up. So let's say you made a video about easy, healthy recipes for healthy living. You can use a hashtag for that, so that anytime someone clicks and types healthy living, healthy recipes, easy, healthy recipes, your video shows up in the feed as well. So yes, once you're able to explain complex concepts, you're able to catch the attention of your audience, you're able to evoke emotions, and then it reaches a wider audience. That's sort of the first start to ensuring that your video gets the desired results you want. And the next element will be your video's objective. Before you develop a video, you have to create a coherent story. Stories are the best. I love storytelling because that is where people can really connect to you. So creating a coherent story, you start from A, you move to B, and you move to the end. It's like telling your story from childhood to when you were super old. You don't go from A, jump to Y, and then come back to B. It has to be coherent. A, B, C, D to Z. And to start with that, it's important to know your video's objective. So think about what you want your video to do. Are you looking for your video to teach someone something, to teach people something, or to inspire people to take action, or to share important facts? So did you know that this and that, or there's a new research and you want people to know about it? So your video's objective is like your video's job. If you are making a video, let's say about, for example, preventing heart diseases, your objective could be to educate people about healthy lifestyle choices to keep their hearts strong. And now based on this objective, you can narrow what you feel your video should look like and then move in that same direction. So from getting your videos or developing your videos objective, the next step is your key message, which is extremely crucial. So what is that one main thing you want people to remember after they've watched the 4 minutes video or 10-minute video? What is that one key thing you want people to remember? And that should be your key message. So your key message is the most important part of your video, because I can watch a 10-minute video and at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I just watch? Or what is the essence of the video? So have a key message. For example, if your video is about diabetes awareness, your key message could be early detection and management can help control diabetes and live a healthier life. So with that key message, when you're developing your story, developing your video, you have that in mind. So with your structure, you know that at the end of the day, I want my people to know that early detection and management can help control diabetes and live a healthier life. So it's very important to always have a key message, and that drives your story as you develop your video. And once you have your key message, then you have to know your audience. Because if you create a story without an audience knowing who they are, then you've done nothing. So who are your audience? Are they students? Are they researchers? Are they young people? Are they women? Are they girls? Are they people living with cancer? Once you have that particular group of people you are looking at reaching, then you know who you are talking to. So you can develop and tailor everything based on that. Because if you are talking to kids, for example, and you use extremely, like I said, explaining complex concepts, you use so many jargons and very technical things, obviously they are not going to understand. If your target audience are researchers and you feel like, okay, these technical things these researchers can understand, you can use them, but still use explain the concepts, the complex concepts very well so everyone will understand. And once you know your audience, then we get to the narrative structure. Like I said, creating a coherent story. How you organize a video? What comes first? What comes last? Do you want people knowing about the effects of sugary foods? Do you want that to come first or last? Now you create that structure from the introduction to the end, and that will also guide you as you create your coherent story, as you create your video. And so, yeah, where to start in terms of the narrative structure? I don't know if you've seen a lot of videos on social media where they're talking about food and then they show you how the food looks like in the first instance. So it's a bowl of nice fried rice with grilled chicken. And then from that, that's the final product. And then they now show you the process of getting to that final product. So in terms of narrative structure, I think it's something you can also consider where to start. You can start with the final dish, that's the end, and then you work backwards, showing each step of if it's a dish, for example, showing each step of the dish. And then the various possible sides. The opening, introduce the main players. Imagine your video is, let me give an example. Your video is a detective story about solving a health mystery. Let's say the dangers of sugary drinks. The opening can be introducing the detective. And then you introduce the main players. So the main players are let's say the facts and then the evidence about sugary drinks. And then you develop your theme. So the theme could probably be the mystery itself. So what do you want your audience to know? That can be your theme. And then you transition to the middle. So transition is how you reveal clues. You reveal clues. So you transition throughout the period. And then the aha moment is when you grasp the attention of your audience. You're like, aha, this is when you finally solve the mystery. This is when you get to the point that you're like, okay, this is the moment for your video. So when you're thinking about creating your narrative structure, start with where to start from, the possible parts, and then the possible openers as well. Like I mentioned in the beginning, to grasp the attention of people. So it could be a hook, it could be a question, it could be a mystery, it could be a problem. So for example, if you're creating a video about the importance of exercise, you can start with a hook, like showing someone doing an amazing workout. And then you can ask a question like, want to feel healthier? Or you can present a problem like feeling tired all the time. Are you feeling tired all the time? These things, these hook, they really, really make people very eager to watch more. And that's the whole point of your videos. You start with a very good opener that makes people want to stay with you, to listen to your story to the end. Now, once you've been able to create this coherent story, create this structure, then the next one, when you think of developing your story, would be the lightning. So when it comes to lightning is like the sunshine of your video. Sorry, Is the slide paused? Can you all see the current slide?
Hey, okay, which slide are you hoping to see at the moment? I can move
Um,
forward.
the the lightning slide, the think lightning. I'm done with the creating a coherent story.
This one?
Yes. Okay. So once you're done with creating a coherent story, sorry, could you go back a bit? Back to the creating a coherent story, yes. So you have your video subjective, your key message, knowing your audience, narrative structure, your storyboard. You have your storyboard, and then you have editing as well. So your storyboard is drawing a map. Let me quickly go through that. Drawing a map of your video. What will each part look like? Um, if your video is about healthy cooking, your storyboard can show the various scenes in each of them. So various scenes of, let's say, selecting the ingredients, cooking, and then enjoying a healthy meal. So you always have a storyboard for your video, and that shows the various elements and how you want your story or your story to look like. Don't And once you're done with your storyboard, you move to the editing. Do not start filming right away. It's always important to plan and organize your ideas. And this makes filming much easier. Because if you take your camera or your phone and you start filming, and then you realize, oh no, I was supposed to do this, I didn't do this. Let me go back, and it might be super time consuming. So it's important to go through this process, get a storyboard, know exactly what you want your video to look like, and then edit. Edit before you film. So if it's a script you are going to use, if your video is about, let's say, stress management, you can create a script which has clear steps for reducing stress. And then once you're done with this, you know that, okay, I'm good to go. I can create a coherent story. Now, once you're done creating a coherent story, it's time to set the scene. And in setting the scene, my favorite part is always thinking about lightning. Good lightning makes everything look better. Even when you're taking a selfie and you're in the sun, you're like, oh my goodness, the sun kissed my face because it lights your face so perfectly. So yeah, think of lightning like the sunshine of your video. If the bright sun makes everything look great in photos. So if you can, try taking your videos during the day. Make sure that your subject, if it's a person you're using, your subject is well lit. If it's very dark, then if you're using a professional camera, you need to get the lighting stance to enable your subject become well lit. Just like when you're outside in a sunny day. If you're shooting in the evenings, it's important to have all your lighting equipment so that the subject or the area will be well lit. And because, for example, if you're filming someone talking about exercise and you can't see the person because it's extremely dark, you can't see their mannerisms and all their expressions, it's not going to work. So yes, think lightning when setting up the scene. That's very important. And then the next step will be to film in landscape. People make, especially when you're using the phone, people make a lot of mistakes when filming. So this is my phone, and then they usually film in portrait like this. And when you are developing a video, this wouldn't work. So it's important to always film in landscape. So just like you're watching a movie using your phone, always film in landscape. Because it makes everything look good, and it's like watching a movie on a TV. So with lights, why people use landscape or why it is recommended is also the fact that you get a wide screen too. Making a portrait makes it very narrow, but with a landscape, you get a wide screen and it gives your viewers a very big, clear picture. So always remember to film in landscape. And then the next thing, once you've thought of filming in landscape, is the rule of thirds. Also very important. The rule of thirds is basically always saying, divide your screen into three. So in the back of your mind, when you pick your camera, you know that there's 1, 2, 3. And all the time, ensure that your subject is in the middle frame, always. If you're using a camera or the phone, ensure that your camera, the subject is in the right frame. And if you're using a camera, you'd realize that it makes things easier because with the camera, you can actually see the various boxes. And then it shows you exactly where your subject will be and where to take the shots when you're using a professional camera. But with a phone, usually you'd have to gauge and divide your screen into three using your eyes, 1, 2, 3, and then ensure that all the time your camera is capturing the person in the middle. This is very important when developing a video because you don't want to develop the video and then you realize that, oh no, the subject was way behind or looked too much to the left or to the right, but wasn't centered. So when you're setting the scene, rule of thirds is something you should always consider in mind. Divide your screen into 3 parts and ensure that they're in the middle or fully lit. So yeah, this is a beautiful depiction of how it can look like. So you don't want your videos to be all over the place. So rule of third helps. If you're using an iPhone too, I think they have a setting where it can also show you exactly how it will look like when you're taking the videos. And once you have the rule of thirds in mind, the next thing to think about when setting up the scene is avoiding the digital zoom. So digital zoom is basically, let me just say, making a picture bigger on your screen. But in doing that process, it can make your video less clear. So you know how you zoom to make things closer or further away. But if you use the digital zoom on your phone, for example, it makes your video very fuzzy and unclear, like a blurry picture, because you are working with a fixed number of pixels. So enlarging the overall image results in a lower pixel density will cause a loss in detail. So the result is a larger image, but at a reduced detail. So know that digital zoom is basically making a picture bigger on your screen, but it can make your video less clear. So always avoid digital zoom. If you want to show something which is very close, you don't need to enlarge it. Just move your camera physically close to the subject. Or let's say if you're filming an infographic about heart health, don't use digital zoom. Instead, just move the camera closer to the subject and then take the shot. Instead of taking the shot and then trying to make it enlarged, which can also make the video or the picture very blurry. So yeah, once you have your right lighting, you are filming in landscape and not portrait, you have the rule of thirds in mind and you avoid digital zoom. When it comes to setting up the scene, you are good to go. And once you have that in mind, you've created, your coherent story, you've set up the scene. Now you're more or less good to go. You can now develop your video and share it to the world. And, we do that using the smartphone or the professional camera. But when using the smartphone, because most of us have smartphones, there are various tips to understand or to consider when using it. So my colleague, Sherry, will take us through the various tips for filming on a smartphone.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to take you through a few of the tips for filming on a smartphone. Some of them will be quite obvious because, you know, a lot of us have phones and use them anyway, but it's worth just sort of just going through it just as a reminder. One of the first things is to make sure that your phone is on airplane mode, and this will be good to stop calls coming through and alerts that your filming isn't interrupted. Secondly, full battery. It goes without saying that you should ensure that your phone is fully charged. And filming and storing videos obviously takes up a lot of power. So a good idea is if you think you're going to be filming for more than an hour, is to perhaps get hold of a portable battery pack, and that that will help you to film for that bit longer. The other thing is checking your storage. Videos use up a lot of storage. The best thing to do is or a good thing to do is to sort of delete any old apps or photos that you might have on your phone so that you've set up and ready to go. I mean, there's nothing worse than creating your video and you can't, or you can't store it, or you can't, it won't work. So the other thing is stability. Now, it's important to obviously use two hands if you can, a selfie stick, a portable tripod. If you don't have any of those, you can sort of back and make something, maybe use a water bottle or a broomstick, attach it with, I don't know, some strong tape or a strong elastic band or something so that you can have it set steady and stable. What else? And also, obviously, if you're using a tablet, then you're definitely going to need two hands because obviously they're a bit loud, a bit larger. And then your microphone. It's important to have your microphone as close to the sound as possible. And in fact, most phones do come with, obviously come with headphones, and the microphone on the headphone is actually usually very good quality. So you can actually just use that to be as close to the sound as you can make it. A couple of additional things are perhaps, well, I've already mentioned a tablet, but yeah, you can film on a tablet or a number of other devices that have smartphone features. And you can also, I mean, if you don't have a smartphone, I guess, or a modern phone, you can use an old phone without a SIM card, and you can use the camera part of it and then connect it later to Wi-Fi to export the video. So that could be an option if you don't have like a current phone. So that's it. I hope that was a bit helpful, and I'll pass you back to Echo.
Thanks so much, Sherry. Those were super helpful. Just to add one more tip. So when using the phone, this is something you don't need to pay for. I'm just giving you a tip for your usual day-to-day, even when you're taking a selfie or a general camera. So always remember to blow some air into the lens of your phone, usually like this, and then clean the lens. It really helps in making your pictures and then your videos look way better. So always remember that. So you blow some air onto the lens and then clean or wipe your lens. Same for the front camera when you're trying to take a selfie or any video. So yes, those were some short tips, especially when using the smartphone. Let's move on to the next. Now, you have your video. So the next thing you can think about is adding text to the video. And with text is words on a page. It's words on a page. So it's the writing or the messages that you see on the screen during the video. So for example, if your video is about healthy eating, you can have a text which says 5 tips for healthier living, and then you write it over there, you put that over there. Or you're introducing a person, you use the text box and then the name of the person appears. I'm sure we've seen it many times. Or just a big introduction, you see the text come up, 5 tips for healthy living, and then the video begins. So adding text is also very important because it makes, or it helps your viewers understand what the video is about even before they watch it. And once you add text, you can also add music if you want. And the tricky thing about music is you don't want it to be too loud so that it takes away the purpose of the video, the message you're trying to communicate. So ensure that with your video, as you add music, let the music be a bit faint, because the music in the video is like a background melody. It's the sound that adds the emotion and atmosphere to your video. So add music, but make it faint so that you can hear the music, but still you can hear or listen to the person who is talking over the video. Or when I'm watching the video, I'm able to follow without being distracted with the music. Because if you had a music like "Hello from the other side," and I'm enjoying the music so much, and then I'm just listening to the music, dancing and going, I will lose concentration and not focus on the main message that the video is trying to let me know. So yes, it's important to use music because music can add to the emotions of the video, like we explained, and then it adds to the atmosphere of the music. Elevates the video completely depending on the right kind of videos you use. So you can see on TikTok and social media, people have videos and then they use music, and then you get teary-eyed because the music is just perfect or it sets the scene. So yeah, use music if you can, but make sure that it's super faint and not too much. And then we get to cutaways. So cutaways are basically quick side scenes. So they are short clips that shows something related to the video. So like what you can see on the screen, they are more or less, they're like mini scenes within your video. They help to show detail or add variety. So let's say you're making a video about fitness. You can include cutaways of different exercises. So there's a shot of the person performing the exercise, and then the narrator can talk about them. It also makes the video more engaging and informative. So you can use text, you can use music, you can use cutaways in developing your videos. And this also adds to making your story very impactful and very beautiful. So yeah, once you're done with text, music, and cutaways, you are good to go. So at this time, I would try my best to provide a technical demonstration of what we've gone through over the short period. I know there's so many things we can learn, but we have a short period. So just know that these are just the basics of developing a very beautiful video that shares your message. Let me share my screen. This is called CapCut, CAPCUT. It's a simple video editing tool that lots of people use, and that I also use for my work sometimes. It's easy to use. You can use it. You can download it as an app on your iPhone, on your Samsung, or you can use it on your desktop. Anyway, it's super easy to use. So the first thing, once you've created your coherent story, you have your storyboard, and you have your structure of how your video should look like, and then you've actually taken the video shots, it's time for editing. So I'm using pictures, and I have just a few pictures to use. So I clicked on upload. I've uploaded a few pictures. Now let me put them onto the frame. Do you see the picture currently showing now? Great. So I've added the first picture, which is a picture of myself and some friends. And then I've added another shot of a workshop with the team. And then let me add another shot of, okay. So now that I've imported my video, so always using CapCut, once you have your videos, there's the upload option. You upload your videos from computer or Dropbox or Google Drive. Once you upload it, they will show over here. And this is where the magic works in terms of video editing. Okay. So now you would see here it says untitled project. You can name it anyhow you want your video to look like. So if it says, I'm gonna name it Echo's Journey. And then we have this here. So it's always good to name your video boards because you may have different video boards, and then it will be able to easily allow you to see which one is it. Now, when you look to your left-hand side, you would see media, stock videos, photos, audio, text. We spoke about text, captions, etc. Now, when I click on text, I can add a heading here. So once I click on add heading, it shows there. So I just say Echo's Journey, like what we talked about, adding text. And then I minimize it to the desired style and place it anywhere I want on my screen. So I'm just going to place it over here, to Echo's Journey. And then I can place another one here. So remember, you can have different titles for different scenes in your video. So this one says Echo's Lifestyle, and I have that over here. And then this second slide. So now I have Echo's Lifestyle here. Then the second slide, I then create another one. Hold on. Okay. Now I have the 3 ones done. And yes, so yeah, I have the video. It shows the various sessions, and then there are timings. So when Echo's Lifestyle appears, you can decide how many seconds you want that particular text to remain on the screen. If you want it to remain throughout the whole session, there's this icon that will allow you to do that, the one that I'm dragging right now. And then you can see that as I drag it, the time shows over here. And it also shows you how many minutes or seconds your video will last. So once you've added your test, because we don't have much time, I'll just go through this very quickly. Once you add your test, if you want to add music as well, you go on your left-hand side, you see audio. And then audio, they have some recommended playlist. But if you have your own playlist you want to add as well, you can add that. So I add my, let me just choose anyone. Yes, I add to my timeline. So now I've added music to the timeline. So the music shows as the green part you see beneath the side. It says "Don't Say." Yeah, so let me just say I have my video, I have my test, I have the music. That should basically be it in terms of putting videos together. This is the frame I want. I want people to see my lifestyle first. So that is why it's the first thing to show. And then my life, that's the second one. And then the third one, my journey. So based on my storyboard, you know, we spoke about structure. And then I've added my music and yeah, I'm good to go. So once I play it, the music is also playing in the background right now. And then it's just going through. I don't know if you can hear the music, but yeah. Yeah, and then it gets to the end. And once you're done, you can just export, and it gives you various ways of exporting. You'd see export to your far right, and then you export your video using the resolution you want. If you want it highly high quality, you use 1080 or less based on your what you're looking for. So yeah, there's a lot. So CapCut makes things easier and there's a lot to learn, but we don't have too much time. So in your own free time, you can just play around it. If you have videos, export your videos, put them into the right frame and how you want them to look like based on your storyboard, and then play around adding text, adding audio and transitions where possible. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Easy if you want to add, if you want to add anything or any other apps there are that can make editing easier.
Sure. So just got my screen up again, and as Echo said, he was using CapCut, but there are a few other ones that you might want to try out. They might be a better fit for you, or they just might work better in your region or for your file types. And these are just a few ones that come up a lot. There's often free versions of it, and before you have to upgrade, you can get a lot done on those. And some of them are just open access and free anyway. So have a look at these ones as well as the CapCut and see what you like best. Just watching that demo, then I got a sense of CapCut as being quite similar to Canva in many ways, except for movies rather than for still images. So if you're familiar with something like Canva, then you might get on well with CapCut. But as I said in the chat, we'll share the slides and the recording, so don't feel you need to scribble everything down right now. You can go and find these out in your own time. So I'm just going to stop my screen there. And Echo's done a terrific job keeping to time there despite all of that information. So I just wanted to ask at the moment, is there any questions from the group? If you got anything while Echo's here, while Cherie's here, while I'm here? Is there anything you'd like a bit of clarification on, or any questions you have about tips? Katerina, please go ahead.
Hi, hello. Thank you for the presentation and for the tools too. And my question is regarding to the purpose of the video. Is it the purpose up to us, taking into account that we have different targets? So, for example, we can create a video for create in the case of our research, which is about screening cervical cancer. Would the video will be for creating awareness, will be for policymakers? I mean, we have different targets, as I said. So the purpose is up to us, or is a video that should explains what is our research about? Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned the key message of the video and then knowing your audience. So if the video is, for example, let's say cancer or cancer awareness, and that is your message, regardless of who the audience is, then that is what you would carry through in your video. At the end of the day, researchers, students, young people, whoever the target audience are, they should know that their message is creating awareness on cancer, basically. If it's specifically to researchers, there are various ways of reaching various people, which is why you should also know your audience. So if you feel like the video is a great way to know researchers, you use the video and then you tailor your message to them. If you think you can use a presentation form in Zoom to reach out to another audience, you can do that. But the main objective is to ensure that your key message is communicated and the complex concepts are as clear as possible. So that at the end of the day, regardless of who you intended it to be, the video could reach a wider audience and everyone can see it. But then, even though everyone is seeing it, you've explained the complex concepts well, you have your message there and anyone can understand regardless, which is why it's also important, like we said, it's important to explain the complex concepts because you may have a key audience in mind, but it's social media, things go viral any day and you don't know when things will go viral. Your video can be on YouTube and then someone downloads it, shares it on social media, shares it on other places. And then you should just have that in mind, that explain complex concepts, ensure that the key message to the audience is communicated, regardless of the audience. I don't know if Easy would want to add anything, but yeah.
No, it sounds good to me. Just to summarize, it sounds like what you were saying, Katerina, is you get to decide what your objective is, and then from there it's up to you and what you want to achieve through that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Echo. That's a very good presentation. Okay, fortunately, I'm used to Canvas, and then CapCut, I've not actually gotten so used to it. I think the challenge I'm having, which I would want to ask as a question, is how to handle the moderate the sound, the voice in the video, and then that of the music. Actually, I'm learning by myself, so I've not actually learned how to be able to control or synchronize these two sounds. That's the voiceover of the video and that of the music, background music. Thank you. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Ifeanyi. This can be extremely tricky, I understand, because like I mentioned, you want the sound to be super subtle so that it doesn't overshadow the real voice over. And yeah, usually when you have once you have adjusted the music volume, I usually adjust the music volume initially, and then I increase the voiceover, the volume of the actual voiceover, and then I play it, and I realize that, okay, the audio is still, the music is still too much. Then I reduce it a little bit, I adjust the music volume, and then I try increasing the voiceover, the volume of the voiceover itself, to a point where I feel like, okay, now this is good. The background music is okay, but it's subtle, and then you can hear the voiceover and hear the message perfectly. So usually, yeah, so I think that's something you can explore. Try increasing the volume of the voiceovers, reducing or adjusting the music volume, and then listening initially. And then if it doesn't work, you try again. I don't know if that answers your question, but
it sounds like it's an iterative process, and it's an art rather than a science, which may be tricky for a lot of scientists who might be watching this back. So it's a lot of see what it sounds like, see what it looks like, and then go back and adjust it. Ifeanyi, do you have a quick comment? I'm just aware of the time that we've got left.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's very clear. You answered it. Another one I want to know is which works better? Because after I find it difficult to use this, then I devise another method of passing my message. So what I do is I use the text box, then I put the message on the text box, Probably like I use it's kind of what do you call it again? I allow the background music. I won't do the voice again, but then I use the text box to send out the message or the information. So people read the pages and then they go on. So
okay, so that's the beauty of developing videos. You know, as we mentioned, creating a storyboard, so you know what you want your video to look like. So if you want your video to just have music and then the text is on the page for people to see the text as the music plays, that is fine. It is based on your goals and objectives. That is perfect. As long as at the end of the day, the key messages are communicated, because people can still read text. I see a lot of videos on social media. It's just music and then text. Or if based on your storyboard and vision, you want to use subtle music and then a voiceover, that's perfectly fine as well. It's up to you and your objectives and story.
Great. We have got another question, but what I think I might ask is, we do have a quick poll just to see how you all found this. So I'll ask Cherie to run the, there's no poll. Okay, I beg your pardon, we don't have a poll, so we can just completely scratch that. I'm happy to go on with a few more questions for another few minutes, but if you need to leave us, that's absolutely fine. Echo in the chat, I saw Solomon's question, but Solomon, would you like to ask it?
Thank you, Echo, for the presentation. And I've learned a few tricks today. I just wanted to check, there's this thing coming up where people do videos with animation. So I was wondering if you know of any resources that can be handy when you want to create such videos. Thank you.
Hello, so Solomon, you were asking if there are resources for doing develop animation videos. Oh yeah, there are various animation software. So there's Adobe After Effects. So it's a professional grade software for creating motion graphics and animations. There's also Adobe Animate, and that's also great for 2D animation and interactive content. Oh, so there are various softwares for animation, and there are online animation tools as well. So you can look at Animaker, ANIMAKER.